Dun 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 dun. Here we go. We're back with rule number 7 for Radiowreck LLC, True School Hip Hop since 2009. And I am Uni V Soul, independent recording artist. And what am I doing? Yo, I've been laying out the rules that I've made for myself over the years, and that I've learned, and I'm giving these rules to maybe somebody that is my age, but also to, a younger me, to let them know this is how I got up to here. So you could go by them, you can not go by them. It doesn't really matter. But, I'm finding out stuff about myself as I'm, just replaying everything back in my mind from my journey to get up here. So this next rule for rule number 7, that being said, is I got this in 2002, right? Perform, perform, perform. And I want to preface this next rule with the rule from last week, right? Rule number 6, dream big and keep your head in the sky, but both feet on the ground. See, during that time, and going back to rule number 5 too, about write, record, publish, right? That was 2000 and 2001. So leading up to 2002, remember, when I was talking about 2000, when I did that CD, I showed you that nourishment CD, that write, record, publish, and then I'm going out and I'm dreaming big. I want to do big things. So I'm out there, rapping for people and selling CDs and stuff like that. And I meet two brothers by the name of Lord and Meet Your Maker. And we go from making they had a studio in the basement at Lord's house. And so we get together, we're making all these records together down there. And come up with this big idea, dreaming big, to have a commercial studio on commercial property. Now, we were dreaming big, but we didn't have both feet on the ground because, an older gentleman that was leasing the building to us, he was like, yo, you need X, Y, and Z for your business. But, we were just so in tune with the music and we were dreaming big. And it was like, yo, if we want it enough, it's going to happen. And, that venture didn't turn out too well. And it didn't turn out so well that in around that time, before 2002, 2001, 2002, I had, given up everything for that, to get that studio to work, and I thought the more sacrifices that I made, that something would work. And this is why, I'm telling you, I'm sharing my story with you to drive home a point of the rule that I'm talking about from last week. Dream big, but keep your head in the sky, but both feet on the ground. It's like, it's one thing to dream big, but you have to deal with practicality. You have to deal with reality. You have to deal with the bills, deal with the laws, regulation, what's going on. It doesn't matter how much you want something. There's things you have to understand the rules. The rules of engagement, the rules to the game, the whole shit. So, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I mean. Like, yo, have your big dreams, but then break that down and see what it is in reality, because it's not enough just to have big dreams. So, and I say that, right, because after I lost everything, and don't worry, I know I'm running kind of long, but I'm trying to build into rule number 7, perform, perform, perform. So, like I said, my failure to keep both feet on the ground while I was dreaming big back in, '01, with the studio, it forced me and it caused me to lose a lot of my time, my life, a lot of things that I had going on that time. So I had to go back and move in with my mom. My mom was living in Connecticut at the time. And so, but when I went to go and live with her, I said I was never going to do music again. And it was crazy because my uncle took me to a music store and then he took me to a rec center. They were doing music. And right away, I started linking right back in with musicians. It's like I couldn't even help myself. And it was crazy because I was there, I was broken, and trying to figure out what I was going to do next, because it was like, it didn't seem like music was going to work out. But the thing that was crazy about it, one of the first things that I was doing, other than get some work, is I got vocal lessons. I got vocal. I was training for something that I didn't even know what was coming, but I knew that those two things that I needed to do. I took a writing course, a songwriting course, and I took vocal lessons. And like I said, it's like, for me, it's a type of thing where you're always, you stay ready, you stay training, even when you don't have anything. You could be training for the day that feels like it's never gonna come. And so That being said, my brother-in-law, he's now my brother-in-law now, but he was my college roommate then. Shout out to Owen. He had called me when I was in Connecticut, and I was just like I said, I wasn't really doing any music, but I was still training. I don't know why. I mean, I guess it's just something that's in you, right? And he asked me to come back to Jersey to do a performance, and lo and behold, I was ready for the performance because I was training. You know what I'm saying? And the thing that when I went down there, so I went to George Street Playhouse in New Brunswick, New Jersey, and I did a performance there. And then right away, I got the bug back for the music, right? Because I was around a bunch of great musicians doing stuff, and there was a crowd and all that stuff like that, and it was a beautiful thing. So from Connecticut, I move back to Jersey, and I move in with my now wife, and you know, I had the CD that I first put together, and and I didn't really have a start. I got back to New Brunswick area, and I didn't know where to start, but I knew I needed to get in front of people. So when I say perform, 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 I performed everywhere. And I feel like as an artist, you should do that. Perform in as many spots as you can do. Go to open mics, go to poetry slams, go to cafes, go to college things, perform at schools, perform at churches, wherever you can. The one thing I would advise for you not to do is to pay to perform, right? That's the one thing. But if your family says, "Hey, we're having a thing," volunteer to perform. And the reason why the rule is to perform, 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 perform is because that you have to get comfortable. There was a thing when I went back there and I started doing all the open mics and all the different different places that were having whatever was going on, I was there. And, I was so young at the time and I lacked a lot of performance experience. So I would notice that right before I got on, I would be trembling or something like my knees, and I would be nervous. And I'm going to tell you this. The reason why I'm encouraging you and I'm making this a rule to perform, 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 because it never, that adrenaline, that jitter that you get, it never changes. You just get better at dealing with it by constantly performing, if that makes any sense. I hope that makes sense to you. Like you start to realize it's like a person that never got into a fight before. If you never got into a fight, that first time that you got into a fight will be pretty scary. But if you happen to, and it's probably a horrible analogy, but I just want you to put you in a mind frame. If you took a punch before, depending on how many times or if you've been in that kind of scenario, it's not that you're not worried about the situation. You start to get a little bit more of a calm, you know what I'm saying? And I use the fight scenario because, performing in front of a crowd of people is, I feel like that, what is it, that thing, that fight or flight thing? I think that that's what's going on there, right? You're either gonna okay, there's a crowd of people here, and I don't care if it's 5 or 5,000, there's a crowd of people here, and you're either gonna get choked up, flight, like I don't want to go on stage or choke up, or you're gonna fight. You're gonna fight for what you said that you wanted. You said that you wanted to perform your music in front of people and see how people reacted, and hopefully they react good to it, no matter 5 or 5,000 or 50,000. So this thing kicks in, and I think that by performing as often as possible, that's how you work out that jitter. Like you get better with dealing with that jitter. And that jitter is really not much. It's not really a thing. It's really like, it's a thing of that you care. You know what I'm saying? You really want people to love it, because if you didn't, you'd be like, whatever. You just do whatever. And that's cool too. Some people, hey, that's what they do. But I feel like this is from my translation of it. It's like, because I care, because I'm trying to, I'm being vulnerable on stage. I wrote this song. I wrote this music. I wrote these songs. And I'm sharing with you, I'm becoming vulnerable. And that's a very hard thing to do. And again, in front of 5 or 5,000 people. But I'm telling you, if you get in front of people as often as possible, you start being able to critique yourself. If you're really looking to improve, right? You might start off in the beginning reading from a paper or looking down, not engaging the crowd, right? But as you do it more and more and more, and then you hear you and performing online is way different than performing in front of a crowd. Let's just get that right there out the way too. Like all the live stuff and all that stuff is cool and but there's not going to be anything like that, that physical interaction where people can look you right in the whites of your eyes and you can look them back, especially in smaller venues where they're right there and you can see when it's like, man, this is whack. You know what I'm saying? There's like really no hiding it. Like in a bigger crowd, it's a little bit different because, the lights are blinding you. You could kind of like zone out. But when people are right there in your face, it's kind of something. And that's really where you want to start at. You really want to start at, they're like, there's open mics everywhere. And, and it's crazy because I'm saying this, right? And I'm talking about 20 years ago. And I'm running through this now where it's like, damn, I want to go back out and perform. And I'm getting nervous because I haven't been doing it. And that's what will happen to you. Right. So when I'm talking to you, I'm also talking to myself like, yo, go back. Well, what makes me too good to go back to like open mics or to smaller poetry readings and different things? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't like that's just where you do to cook up. You work out. Treat that. If you're a performer or a singer or a comedian or, whatever, you need to get in front of people. Yo, treat those open mics and those places like that. Treat them like your gym. You know what I'm saying? Because you need, except in the gym, you could work solo, but you need a workshop. You need a crowd, to work in front of, and it's cool if the crowd can be supportive too, but you also want, sometimes a supportive crowd gives you a false sense of security, like everything's all good. So I feel like you need to perform your material in as many different facets as possible for as many different people as possible in the beginning, just to work it out. So that's it. Rule number 7, perform, and I talked, like I said, I was giving you a little bit of back history for myself just to drive home the point of why you should perform and stuff like that. So again, this is Radiowreck LLC, True School Hip Hop since 2009. And these are the rules, the 25 rules that I came up with over the years that I've learned, and I'm just trying to pass it on. You know what I'm saying? I'm not selling you nothing but that buttery goodness, some knowledge, baby. So I'll talk to you later, next week, rule number 8. And if you haven't catched any of the other rules, go on YouTube. Like I said, the podcast is Radiowreck LLC, True School Hip Hop since 2009. And I'm also giving you the story of Radiowreck LLC and what led me up to this point to what I'm doing now. But so we're going to get more to it as the weeks go by. But this was week number 7. So I'll talk to you later. Peace. Radio.